Hey everybody, welcome back to I2I in the Parks. My name is Kyle.
And my name is Jessica.
And we are excited to talk to you about something from Disney Parks, obviously Walt Disney World related. We're going to be talking about
the 2022 Flower and Garden Festival from Walt Disney World this year.
More specifically, the food from Flower and Garden
Which
Festival.
obviously is always our favorite part.
Of course it is. I mean, you don't go to a festival just to kind of walk around and look at the actual kiosk and stuff and admire. Although it's, even though
eat.
Right, you can admire some of the things just looking at them if they're not particularly things you like to eat. We want to eat. We
love to eat.
Indulge and overdo things sometimes.
Because that's what vacation is. Overindulgence.
Right, it absolutely
is. And when you're in Epcot and you're already on the March of Death or whatever y'all call it, you're walking 1,000,000 miles and 1,000,000 steps, so it's fine.
And you're walking off the calories,
That's
hopefully.
my point.
Depending on how much
Exactly, and it was so hot the day that we went that
yes.
calories don't count, right?
This is a thing I subscribe to all the time. It doesn't count because I'm walking it off on the March of Death.
There you go.
So specifically for this video, we're going to just talk about food stuff. The things that we tried at our first ever time at the Flower and Garden Festival, and they had some very unique and different things than the Food and Wine Festival.
They did, and normally when we do food and wine, we are very specific and intentional about what we try.
Talking about that cheddar bacon soup from Canada.
That always has to be number one. So with Flower and Garden, this was our first time. So we had no plan. It was truly just, let's walk around with our family and
progressive dinner style.
If we see something we like, somebody's gonna buy it, and we shared it with maybe about 6 people.
There's a lot of sharing.
And then, if we liked it enough, we'd go back and get a second one, but that's how we did it. So we didn't really have a plan going in. We just kind of stopped at the booths that looked good, and this is what we tried.
So we'll give you the ones that we tried, talk about it a little bit, and just kind of give you some overall thoughts on them. I believe I got us started with this one.
Yeah.
First one to voice, all right, I got to stop and try this thing. This was the spicy hot dog with pineapple chutney, and Jessica, was joking on me behind the scenes here about how I say plantain chips. Yep. So this one, I was shocked how much I really liked it when we tried it, because it was kind of not necessarily a step out for me into, just having like plantain chips. I'm a very picky eater.
And that's what I ate off of it, because it was spicy. It's a spicy hot dog. It was spicy. It was. So for those of y'all that like spice, the pineapple chutney really helped that.
Honestly, I like spicy stuff, that you have the sweetness of the pineapple chutney with it. It just kind of obviously complements it very well, so that even when it became a little bit overpowering on the spicy hot dog, you had that to kind of cool you off a little bit. And the plantain chips, as much as that kind of me as a picky eater.
So good. I love plantain chips.
I liked them a lot. So this to me was like one of the more whole dishes that we tried.
It was a well-rounded snack, I guess.
Yes.
Because it was a big snack. It wasn't like some of the other things that were just like the smallest tiny bite. This was actually one person could have it, and it would be a really solid snack.
Yeah. And this one was found at the Pineapple Promenade, which is right at the port of entry, right when you start at the World Showcase, in there in the middle. I think it was actually off to the left just a little bit.
Yeah.
And hey, if you wanted a Dole Whip, they had them there as well.
So we did also get a Dole Whip and try it. We just had the actual Dole Whip, not the float.
Did we actually ever turn down a Dole Whip?
No, never.
Next up, we got La Isla Fresca, where I tried the arepas. Jessica didn't try this one because she was full at this point in the trip.
This was like the last go around the world.
Not your fault.
Yeah, I just could not stomach any more food at this point. But...
And it was the hottest part of the day too.
Yeah.
Probably not the best time to be trying doughy bread and cheese and all that kind of stuff.
It really looked really dry.
It was. So this is probably going to be the most disappointing one for us from this trip. And I was really looking forward to this because I heard a lot of people talk about it online. I was really excited to try it. And my brother was very excited about trying that with me. So we did it together. And thankfully we had one together.
Yeah.
Because I think we both were like, ugh, this is not exactly what we were hoping for.
Right.
It was good. It wasn't bad. It's just, I think it didn't live up to the hype, and because of how dry it was. And we had also had something very refreshing a second ago before that, which we'll get to in a second. I think that kind of ruined our effect.
Well, and I think looking back at the menu now, there was an arepa topped with shrimp and avocado and a tomato sauce. And I think that probably would have been better to have a sauce with it.
Yeah, I think that's
have a little bit of shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have definitely made it for you. So we'll try it again someday in the future, but definitely probably the most disappointing for us. Next up, and this is the one that's my favorite. I'm so excited about this one. Hanami, which is the one outside the Japan pavilion, right out at the front there. The Frushie.
Okay, so we weren't even gonna stop here, and then it was just so hot, and we were looking for a bathroom, and so some of our group was in the bathroom, and we're waiting, and I was getting our water bottles refilled, and I was like, Kyle, there's a station right here, and they've got fruit sushi. Cause like, I don't like sushi. And then I explained what it was. He was like, oh my gosh, we have to get that.
And again, context for this is the point where we're like getting towards the end of our trip around the world eating. Yeah. We've been eating a lot of like heavy stuff.
We are pouring sweat.
And you just needed something. And then you read this. I mean, it's right here. Okay. Strawberry, pineapple, cantaloupe with a sweet rice pink soy wrap, served with whipped cream, drizzled berry sauce, and toasted coconut. There's actually a lot of things in there that I particularly, usually wouldn't get, but it all sounded so good. And here's the best part, it looks so good.
It did. It was beautiful. I think for me, the flavors they just didn't hit the mark. It was just a very bland flavor palette.
I disagree completely on that one.
And that's fine. That's why we have different opinions. I also thought there was a lot of rice for a little bit of fruit on some of the pieces. Mm-hmm. Overall, it was good. I think it just could have been elevated. Maybe it needed a little, I don't know, it just needed a little something. I don't know what that something is, but
I thought it was outstanding. I ordered 2 of these. This shows you right then and there how world-changing this was for me. And in fact, this probably changed my whole perspective on which is the better festival, simply because of the Frushie. I know that's controversial to even question the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk to you right now because I'm so mad that you would even question Food and Wine, but okay. So my favorite of the day was from the Germany, I'm gonna butcher the name, something farmer's market, Bauern Market?
Bauern Market? That sounds good to me.
Okay, so we had the toasted pretzel bread topped with Black Forest ham and melted Gruyere cheese. I should have gotten 3 of these.
This is so good.
I was so mad, but I had to share it because it was like the one thing I was looking forward to all day. And as soon as I got it, I was like, I should have definitely gotten a second one, but you don't know if you're gonna love it.
Right.
And then by the time we loved it, the line at the booth was so long. But the pretzel bread, if you like pretzel bread like I do, this was just the absolute perfect pretzel bread. It was soft, it wasn't doughy, it was cooked perfectly. The outside was a little bit crispy, and then the Gruyere cheese on top of it was just next level.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna like this one as much as I did, and so I think this is especially on the back part of World Showcase, where you get to Germany, Italy, all that stuff, and then obviously we talked about Frushie already. That was like really where things started to really pick up for us, and we got super excited about some things.
Yeah.
So this one was a highlight as well, even for me. As much as I love the Frushie, this is probably worthy of being top 2 at least.
This was my very favorite thing of the day. And your mom also got the potato pancake at this booth.
That's right, we did try that here as well, and it was good.
It was fine. Now she got it completely plain. Like they had a couple of options that we would have really loved: the caramelized ham, onions, and sour cream on top of it. That one would have probably been our favorite, but she has to eat things pretty plain, so she just got the plain potato pancake.
And I think that's the lesson here, not just about what we're talking about in this specific food or group or even pavilion. Try, if you can, some of the things with the additions to them, because they probably are what make it even better overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one was probably where I stepped out the most. I've had crab before, okay? So it's not like, the most foreign thing to me, but it's not something I seek out.
You also don't eat the Americanized Chinese food that most of us do when we think takeout Chinese. So we got the cheesy crab wontons. Our sister-in-law got them because that's one of her favorite foods. And I love them from the traditional, just like I said, Americanized Chinese takeout places. But this was next level.
I thought this was really good too. I was surprised how much I loved this.
It was amazing. The amount of filling to wonton ratio was perfect. Sometimes you can get them and they've got too much filling and then it's just doughy in the middle, or not enough and then it's overly crisp. This was absolutely perfect.
If I make a comparison, this is probably nowhere near, people probably gonna disagree with this, but I remember trying the lobster roll at Food and Wine and it just being overly, the addition of mayonnaise and stuff with it with the roll. I know this is 2 completely different things, but I like the balance of crab to cheese to the wonton breading. Is that what you call it? That was all like
the actual
proportion
was
great. And I think that's what made me like, oh wow, this is really good. So would I seek it out again? If Jessica wanted to, yes, but probably not on my own, but it was still really good.
It was really good. So on a different day while we were in Disney, we actually came back to do Guardians of the Galaxy, and I kind of needed the Fruit Loop shake that I had been seeing. So we went to the Epcot Sunshine Griddle, which was over near Test Track, and they had a Fruit Loop shake.
Which, you know, when you hear Fruit Loop shake, you're like, oh, this is the most like exotic thing in the world, is Fruit Loops in a shake. And so you're like, you know, for me, someone who's trying to be more adventurous, you don't think this is a big step out, but this was so worth it.
It was so worth it. I had seen pictures of it. You know, when you're at the festival and you just like see the big signs and you see the pictures, and I was like, that kind of sounds good. And the more I thought about it, I was like, no, that sounds real good.
Yes.
And the shake was like green, and then it did have actual Fruit Loops on top. It was the best version of a cereal milkshake that I could ever think of. It was
it green or pink?
No, it was green.
I can't remember these days, but I don't care what color it was because it was good.
It was so good. And ironically, our sister-in-law, the one that wasn't there, loves Fruit Loops so much. And so we sent her a picture. She was like, no, I want that. It was amazing.
It was really good. And so I think, you know, that probably sits it in the top 3, probably, just because it was something different. We've been eating all that entire week. Hadn't tried a lot of the drinks or food, or like shakes and things like that, slushies and things like that. So that was like a different thing that we got to do, even on a different day, but still part of the festival. So I hope it's the first time I've seen that, so I hope they...
Apparently, it's like a thing in a lot of restaurants now that they do cereal milkshakes.
It's just basically like you let your cereal sit in the milk and get soggy and then freeze
make that,
it.
yeah.
Like almost kind of thing.
But it wasn't icy, it was actually milkshake.
Yeah, but it was really good. So those are all the things that we tried at the 2022 Flower and Garden Festival, our first ever visit to this particular festival. And for me personally, it was the winner of the 2 main festivals. I know there's 3. But I know that's controversial. I just was like floored by the food in this one. And the food at Food and Wine is great. But Flower and Garden, in combination with the other things they do, I think it is now my favorite festival of the entire year.
I mean, that's fair. I loved it. Had a great time. Loved seeing the topiaries, obviously, while I'm eating the food. But as a person who is prone to allergies, I think I'm going to stick with Food and Wine because...
There's allergies
flowers
you can have
around.
in the fall too, you know, like with the weather changing and stuff like that.
No, it was a joke.
But it was so good either way.
It was so good. It way exceeded my expectations. I thought the food at Food and Wine was just next level, but this stepped right up with it.
So Frushie was my favorite. Yours was the Black Forest ham pretzel roll.
The pretzel bread.
The pretzel bread thing, that was probably, I would agree, those are top things right there sitting up there together. But it was all good. We enjoyed it, and we want to try it again. Maybe not in the heat of the summer. Hopefully next time. Appreciate you watching this video and our thoughts on the Flower and Garden Festival. Would love to hear some of your opinions about what we ate or anything that we haven't tried that you'd love to share with us down in the comments section below. What else should they do, Jessica?
If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content.
And be sure to check out some of the videos we have here from our time on that particular trip, especially our first ever ride on Guardians of the Galaxy and our post thoughts after that. You can find a lot of that stuff by here by subscribing. Till we assemble again,
may the force be with you.
And we'll see you real soon.
Bye, guys.